pride to welcome you all to the Villanueva District Cluster of Colleges Joint Faculty Program organized by the Department of English of Sri Kaliswari College, Sivakasi through this virtual platform. It is really a historical record that the Department of English has created in bringing the overwhelming responses from the participants from various colleges under Villanueva District. Let me quote some insight about our college. It is a creative multi-faculty institution of higher education in Sivakasi. It was established in year 2000 with the aim of providing quality education to rural students. The college has been accredited with the A grade by the NAC in its third cycle, and the English department has the vision of empowering the students with the effective communication skill and to promote research activity of the staff and the students. At present, a team of dedicated and qualified faculty members are facilitating the effective teaching and contributing in shaping the next generation. This virtual workshop is arranged with the aim of ensuring unique opportunity in our lifetimes to explore and enable ourselves to involve research activities. This workshop specially benefits the researchers and students who have been exposed to the research methods. Research has become an integral part of every walk of life. It invites to figure out the unknown. We are sure after attending today's workshop on research methodology, participants will be able to understand the basics of research methodology and hope they take advantage from this workshop. Let me take up this opportunity to welcome our Honorable and respected Vice Principal of the College, Dr. P.K. Balamurugan sir, a man of distinct vision and has rich teaching experience in molding the younger generation. A special welcome to the speaker of the session, Dr. V. Rajasekharan, Senior Assistant Professor of English, School of Social Sciences and Languages, CMT University, Chennai. I am happy to welcome beloved head of the Department of English and the Dean of all the academic affairs, Dr. S. Pravina ma'am. We are proud to say that she is the one who meticulously framed the overall curriculum structure of the college and the OBE pattern. I am glad to welcome the invited guests, passionate professors, dedicated research scholars, and dear students from other colleges and our own college. Without any further ado, let's begin this program by invoking the blessings of Lord Almighty with a prayer song. May I call upon Selen Goyatri and the team to sing a prayer song.
Shall be showers of blessing. This is the promise of love. There shall be seasons of blessing, sent from the Savior above. Showers of blessing, showers of blessing we need. Mercy drops rounders are falling, but for the showers we plead. Showers of blessing we need. Mercy drops rounders are falling, but for the showers we plead. But for the showers we plead. Thank you.
Without any further ado, to offer a cordial welcome to everyone connected through the virtual meet, let me welcome the Honorable and most respected head of the department, Dr. S. Pravina, who is a dedicated student-centric teacher and an ardent researcher to deliver this welcome address. So before beginning the formal welcome note, I would like to inform you that despite his earnest wish, our principal, Dr. S. Krishnamurthy, couldn't make his presence for this virtual workshop, and it was due to unavoidable circumstances. And personally, he has asked me to inform this to you, sir. So, respected Vice Principal, revered guest of honor, faculty friends, and my dear students, Pleasant morning to you all. At the outset, I would like to thank God Almighty for this blessed day, and I invoke the blessings of God in all our academic endeavor. On behalf of the Department of English, I am extremely delighted to welcome you all to this virtual workshop on research methodology organized under Virudhunagar District Cluster of Colleges Joint Faculty Program in English. I am happy to welcome our Honorable Vice Principal, Dr. Balamurhan, who is an inspiring leader and a skillful commander. It's my special joy to welcome you, sir. My pleasing and cheerful welcome to our respected Chief Guest, Dr. Rajashekaran, Senior Assistant Professor of English, School of Social Sciences and Languages, VIT University, Chennai. He is a leading and acclaimed international speaker. His video sessions on research methodology in YouTube are watched frequently. Indeed, we count ourselves fortunate for being honored with his virtual presence. I have attended many of his virtual workshops, webinars, and got benefited. I could testify that indeed this session would be a meaningful academic exercise. With this note, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to you, sir. My welcome extends to all the teacher friends and student participants from 7 colleges who are gracing this day with your virtual presence. I wholeheartedly welcome the faculty members and my dear students from the Department of English who are the real backbone in organizing this workshop. Once again, I welcome you all collectively and individually. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for your cheerful welcome. I am extremely overwhelmed to get this opportunity to invite the most respected Vice Principal, Dr. P. K. Balamurhan, sir, an iconic personality and a seasoned academician who is working towards connecting young minds to strive towards success and achievement. We welcome you, sir, to give presidential address.
Good morning to one and all present here. Today's resource person, Dr. V. Rajashekaran, Senior Assistant Professor of English, School of Social Sciences and Languages, VIT University, Chennai, and the HOD of English, Dr. Premina Madam, and the faculty members of Sri Kaliswari College, and students of Sri Kaliswari College, and the faculty members from other participating colleges, and the students from other participating colleges. Once again, good morning to one and all attending this virtual workshop. I think the topic is very important as of today because every higher learning institutions are under pressure to focus more on research than on teaching, and the research methodology is an area to be covered to all the PG students and the faculty participants because all the faculty members, those who are doing their research, are struggling in selecting the topic and how they would proceed with the topic for the award of the PhD degree and even to publish their article in a Scopus or UGC listed journals. And I belong to the social science department, that is business administration. Our research methodologies totally differ from the research methodology of science or research methodology of the language studies. And almost all the researchers are in trouble in selecting the right topic for their research program. And if they are selecting the right topic, means the rest of the period of research is comfortable. If we are selecting the topic which are not familiar or which are somewhat tough to do research, certainly the guide as well as the researchers are supposed to face tough time during the entire course of their PhD program, and even in awarding the degree of PhD program. So the research methodology for the Department of English, that too with the Virudhunagar District Cluster of Colleges Joint Faculty Program, certainly throw a light on the minds of the young researching faculty members or the future researchers, that are the students, in how to go with the research in English literature. From the words of the Premina Madam, and I came to know that today's resource person, Dr. V. Rajashekaran, sir, is an eminent personality in providing guidance in the research area of the students. Certainly, your lecture will help the students as well as the faculty in selecting the right title and how to proceed their research program in a very successful way. And I take this opportunity to appreciate the efforts taken by the Department of English in organizing this type of really beneficial program both to the students as well as to the faculty members of the English departments of not only Sri Kaliswari College but the entire women colleges. And almost 100 participants are participating. Really, I feel very happy that still even on Saturday the students are very much interested in attending this type of program. So I once again appreciate the efforts taken by the Department of English. And on behalf of the college and on my own behalf, I extend my sincere thanks to today's resource person for being with us and going to deliver a keynote address on research methodology. And once again, I am thankful to the opportunity given to me. And being it's a workshop, the mere participation will not enough on. And whatever doubts you are having, you just interact with the today's resource person and get it clarified. Generally, the purpose of organizing this type of program will certainly achieve. I am very much thankful for the opportunity given to me. Thank you, Anadal, and I wish the program a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring and informational address. People who feel good about themselves do great works and create great things. One such person is with us. I request my colleague, Mrs. K.P. Swapnam, Assistant Professor of English, to introduce the guest of honor, Dr. V. Rajeshekaran. Respected Vice Principal, Dr. P. K. Balamurugan sir, Reverend Chief Guest, Dr. V. Rajeshekaran, Dr. S. Femina, Head Department of English, professors and research scholars from neighboring colleges, my students and my colleagues. A pleasant morning to everybody. I deem it as a proud privilege to introduce today's guest speaker, Professor Dr. Rajeshekaran, Senior Assistant Professor of English in the School of Social Sciences and Languages at VIT University, Chennai campus, Tamil Nadu, India. He holds an MA in English, an MSc in Psychology, an MPhil in ELT, and PhD in Linguistics. He is a seasoned teacher, researcher, and administrator with a decade and a half year of experience. And most importantly, Professor Dr. Rajeshekaran is the Cambridge University DEC speaking examiner. And what is even more important is, he is the recipient of IATEFL scholarship to attend 52nd IATEFL International Conference at Brighton, UK during April 2018 and recipient of Betty Azar Travel Grant to attend Kaliswari International Convention and Expo at Atlanta, Georgia, USA during March 2019. That's the saying that says that travel broadens our mind and constantly inspires us. Our resource person has visited many countries including England, Scotland, France, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland, Singapore, Malaysia, Oman and Sri Lanka, and has delivered keynote addresses in international conferences held in Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. When it comes to research, his expertise can be understood in his impressive track record of 5 edited books, 8 book chapters, 75 papers in reputed international journals, including 18 Scopus Index. He is the most invited resource person, and he has delivered more than 100 invited talks. So, we have an outstanding speaker today for this workshop on research methodology. As a research student, it would help us towards how to begin a research work from the scratch. Sir, we are privileged to have you as a resource person in this virtual workshop on research methodology, and we are thankful to you for having accepted our invitation in the midst of your busy schedule. Thank you, one and all. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for introducing such an inspiring, influencing, and versatile personality with us. I deem it a great honor to invite eminent resource person, Dr. V. Rajeshekaran, Senior Assistant Professor of English, School of Social Sciences and Languages, VIT University, Chennai. He is a stalwart as far as the area of research is concerned. I am sure, participant, you are taken from the guest lecture today, which will help you with more clarity in your future research. We wholeheartedly welcome Dr. V. Rajeshekaran and we thank him immensely. Over to Dr. Rajeshekaran. sir, to present the credential of research. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much for your nice introduction. I deem it a great honor to address all of you on this wonderful occasion. Let me rephrase my title because I slightly rephrased. Okay. So this will be yeah. So because my entire focus will be on from the research perspective of the PG students, since many of you are there, it doesn't mean that it will restrict within that. I will talk about beyond that also.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, could you raise the volume, sir?
Just a minute. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir, but your voice is very feeble, sir.
Just a minute, let me check. Is it fine now?
Sir, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. I think I'm completely audible now.
Okay, sir.
Can you hear me properly or still it's feeble?
Yeah, now it's fine, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so it's my pleasure and thanks for inviting me for this wonderful occasion because I do need a great privilege to address always the rural students and it's a great honor to share my expertise. Okay. So first of all, please, there are 3 rules in the session. You can stop me at any time. You have a question. You don't need to wait till the end. In case when I am proceeding with certain things, you got certain doubt, you want me to clarify, you can stop me, no problem. You can stop me at any time. Students, you can simply raise the hand and I think organizer will help me to connect to a question. I'll answer your query, then I'll continue. So I don't have any problem answering your query in the middle of the session. So number 1. Number 2, please have a detail. I think all of you have a paper, pen, and with you. Take detailed notes because this will help you a lot. Otherwise, simply it will be a waste of time after 2 hours, and probably you will remember maybe 20-minute content. And after 2 days, you will remember only 2-minute content. After 1 week, you will forget everything. So the notes are the basic thing which will help you a lot to keep the things in mind. Third thing, please make a point. Everybody, you ask, at least you have some questions to be asked. Be ready. We'll have, as usual, at the end, we'll have a detailed question and answer session. I'll answer all of your queries. So I'll be happy to get more questions. Got it? With that note, let me get into the session. Okay. First of all, what is the research? Why do you need to do a research? What will you do? Because in the PG level, you may not know the very complete clarity on those things. Absolutely, you will be having some basic information. You could have studied research methodology in your PG course, but how it is going to help you, whether you have a clarity on those things, you have to take a call on that. So today's workshop will give aid you to understand those things in a clear way. All right. First, research. What is research? See, research, if you take the word research, the word itself, it's a combination of 2, with 1 prefix, if you remove re. Research. The word means research. That's why I have highlighted here. So searching something new, the research, 2 things can happen. You can entirely identify something new, or you may, something is there, but the other person may not identify, but when you do a researching and you will be able to identify. That's why it's a systematic study aiming to achieve the expected objectives, which involves hard and smart work. It may thwart and subvert the established belief. That means, thwart means it may proceed and you make something, you may find entirely new thing, or you may straight away you will say that the entire established belief is wrong. If you take, for instance, when Darwin says that about the origin of species, when the humans are evolved from apes, none of them believed him, and they were stoned at him. The entire world was making fun about him. The whole religious authorities, they have branded him as he's the demon, devil, because none of them was ready to accept that research. Because he did a very hardcore research, he identified that a certain scientific parameters and features, he just thwarted, subverted the entire idea. So far, the world, what you call the world, was believing that all the human beings were created by God. Based on the theory, you have so many other theories. Even if you take Hinduism, we feel that we get God created the human being. And if you take Christianity, that it started from Adam and Eve. But suddenly you come and say that no, you have not been created by Adam or God. You have been simply you have evolved from monkeys. I think someone has unmuted and he's speaking. Yes. So the people were not able to believe it. They were not only, you can't say they were not able to believe, they were not able to accept it. See, suddenly they say that, how can you say like this? You are defaming the entire religion, you are demoralizing the God and all these beliefs. So such kind of research also will be there. That is hardcore research. Entirely the world will change. Because of that particular research, the entire world will change. But initially they may not accept, but later only they realize Darwin was correct. So in that way, but you may not do such kind of research because only scientific researchers used to go in that deep depth. But our research, literary research, will be in an entirely different way. We'll give a new perspective, new perception. We try to understand the psyche of the society, and we'll do the more holistic study of the society, people, culture, and all those things. So your ambition as a PG student, you will be doing immediately your research, you will start doing the PG project. In case you are in a first year and you are in a second year, definitely you'll be having a project in your second year last semester. And in that semester, you need to do a research. That's what that is going to be your first experience in the research. But I know that how the normal research is happening. Normally, you select one author, and you just to buy some notes. You take all the things from the notes and you copy it and make some one document. Finally, you submit as a PG project. I don't blame anybody because of the exposure we have in the rural side. But we do not do the real research. Simply we do for a namesake. Some book has to be ready, and you submit it, and finally you get some mark. No, that should not be the case. I'll tell you some easy mechanisms, some very simple, clear tips to you where you can, even though you are from Tamil medium, in case you are, I know that major problem of most of you must have studied from Tamil medium, and probably you may be from a poor background. You may not know what is this. So I'll tell you all those things, don't worry, irrespective of whether you studied English medium or Tamil medium. If you follow these steps, anybody can do a research. So in a simple way, I'm going to tell you. So first thing, understand research is something finding new. That new, the intensity of the novelty can be 10% to 100%. 100% is done by scientists. Scientists and engineers, they do 100% novelty, something they'll bring in. See, you know very well that we have so many innovations today. I'm sitting here in my home, and you are sitting in your hall, and we are talking each other. How? Because of the technology. This is the innovation of a research. A company did a research on how to connect both people together in a longer duration, without worrying about the distance. See, I used to conduct a lot of, I'm telling you almost, you are attending my lecture live sitting in the seminar hall now. I used to conduct such kind of lecture inviting foreign professors before actually almost 7 to 8 years back. That time, no technology was available. There is one technology called Skype. It's a kind of a video calling where you can call the foreigners and free of cost. So you can connect to them, and by the way, you can project it. I conducted almost all these technology, nothing has come into the picture. That was the initial stage, but in that Skype, you can see only one-to-one. You cannot connect. See, now I can see all of you. Even some of the other around 122 participants have joined from other colleges also via this Zoom. But this was not available. In the Skype, either one-to-one only can be connected. Myself and other person, that's it. But due to the technological revolution, it's an outcome of the research. The company, for instance, Zoom, you have MS Team, Google Meet, all these are the product of the research. They did a research, what can I do better in case they were taken it as an example, people are unable to travel for a long distance. Why don't we find some ways and means to do these kind of connecting platform where both can be connected. So that is the outcome. You are sitting there and I'm sitting here, and both of us we are discussing, we are conversing the things. So this is another issue. This problem, this is a research. They identified the one common issue because normally if you want to make international call in almost, I'm talking about 10 to 20 years back, even to talk 3 minutes, you have to spend almost 500 to 600 rupees. Then later WhatsApp has come, and you know that all the other facilities come. But still, even in the WhatsApp, only 1-to-1. Now there is a group call. Maybe you can increase up to 5 to 7 people. You can add it. I'm not very sure how many you can have. I think more than 5. But when you want to connect hundreds of people, some company has to pitch in and they need to do some analysis. Then they identify there is option where if we develop a product today, the entire world is using Zoom. The entire world is using Google Meet. The entire world is using MS Teams. These are the product of the research. They developed a product. That product is sold because you cannot get the Zoom free. Up to 50 users you can get free. But when you want to extend the time, the college has to pay to purchase the Zoom. It becomes a product, and their research only now it is paying money. So that's, see, based on the research, you can do a product development. But as an English literature students, you will never develop any product because you are not a science student. You are a literature student. You don't develop a product, but you will give a new perception. One product you may develop, probably if you can develop an app to teach English, to teach a specific particular skill of English, you can develop an app, you can sell it. That's one option maybe there. But apart from that, we never develop a product. So first thing I wanted to establish that scientific research and humanities research is entirely different, as your vice principal also has mentioned, because the research methodology, pattern, everything will vary. And for you, what we'll be doing, that's what I'll be going to research. Because if it is general research methodology, I'll need to include everything. But since you are all only PG students and the UG students, some of you, so all of you belong to English. So I'll tell you exactly what type of research in English we do. Let me tell you one by one. And first thing, before I go to all those things, I'm going in a particular order. You need to know the purpose of your research. Why do you need to do a research? Okay, if there is any possibility, I can interact with students and probably someone can answer me what is the purpose of the research. Probably you can take the mic and you can take the mic and answer me. What is the purpose of research? Why do we need to conduct a research? Anybody? Just no problem, don't worry. Even you can give a wrong answer. There is no wrong and right answer, only right response. Just to give me something, let me check what's your understanding. So simply just you come out of your view. What will be the purpose of the research?
Good morning, sir.
Yes,
I'm
good.
from secondary English.
Yes.
My first option is research is a research. So I have some idea and another person has some of the idea. So if I go to research, I get lot of information about the text and about other authors. So that that is the purpose. So that I go to the research methodology.
Okay, thank you. So what he says, research will help you to get more information about the other author. You can go into depth. That may be the one purpose. Yeah. See, Jen, thanks for your information. Actually, if you take exactly the purpose of research is to establish a new idea or a perception. So as an English literature student, you will establish a new idea and perception. See, when you take, for instance, if you look at the Bala movies, director Bala's movie, if you take any movie, the latest one, I think, what was the latest movie he has done? Paradesi was the last one. Can anyone tell me? Okay. No issue. Let us take Paradise, the movie, the Paradesi as an example to analyze here. See, if you look at in general Tamil cinema, because cinema is also an art, actually, that can be considered as literature. So in the cinema, normally we want to go to the movie. The hero should be a superpower man. He will do everything, and finally he will, he'll emerge as a hero. He will work for the betterment of the people. He will have a superpower, and he will, if he loves and that love should be successful. And if he is the what do you call action hero, he must blast all the villains, and he must emerge as a successful person. And at the end of the day, at the end of the movie, the climax has to say that the hero is good and some evils are destroyed and good, what you call, good things have been established, or it is retired. This is the normal routine cinema. It says a kind of a heroism. But actually, if you look at Bala movies, you don't find any such kind of thing. The hero will be a very non-ordinary person. If you look at that Bala's Paradesi, that movie, the otherwise a hero, but you can never identify with the normal mask heroes. He's a normal character, a living character. He lives in a very downtrodden way. He goes to the tea plantation for his job. Then he understands that what kind of exploitation is happening, and he got trapped. He is unable to come out of that particular trap. But Bala ends normally the normal cinema particular director will do that. He will destroy the enemies, he will oppose the Britishers, and he could have completed the entire things, and he could have emerged as a super duper person. But actually, what had happened in that movie at the end of the climax, his own family also will come into the tea plantation with the hope of getting the new life. But the Bala will freeze the frame in such a way that the Adarva would, the reaction from his face, you can understand, oh my God, the entire life is going to ruin. Already my life is ruined and you are also coming to ruin. But it is not, the people may come with the heavy-hearted. Why? The heavy-heartedness will come because that is called open-ended climax. He has not given any finite climax in that movie. It is up to the individual. You can take your own conclusion. That own conclusion is what you call it as open-endedness. That is the one concept of postmodernism. The postmodern theory, it says that don't give a finite solution. Let everybody identify their own solution, own interpretation. There is no fixed meaning. All the meanings are distorted. So if you analyze that movie with the postmodern theories, you will understand that how Bala has employed all those techniques clearly. So this is what here he wanted to give a perception. All the movies say that either they are villain or they are the hero, but he will try to bring out the natural experiences which have been undergone by those type of people in that particular period. That is how we need to understand. So here he brings out the perception in different angles. And sometimes this is one example to give a creative solution. To give a creative solution, that's what if you come to the masala movies, somebody suddenly the hero will emerge, he will destroy all the evil things. He will give some solution to that thing. That type of thing also may happen in some work, not everything. And this can be a purpose of research. How? See, that's what already I've told you that the teams and the Google Meet and Zoom, these are the creative solution for existing problem where already the existing setup was able to connect only 2 people in the world, across the world, but this one connects any number of people. That's a creative solution. And third one is the purpose of research is to invent and discover. That's what invent means. You can entirely creating something new is called invention. Invention means, see, there is an electric scooter available nowadays. Electric vehicles is coming up. It is invention. Discovery means you see that Keeledi and other places, our archaeological department are doing the excavation to understand the Tamil culture and their ancient roots. That is called discovery. Discovery is already there. We have not identified. Through research, we are identifying those things. And if you take all of our literary research, it's a form of discovery. That is, the text is there. You might have not understood in that way. probably you should have understood in the only one angle, but this will help you to discover different multiple layers of meaning from the text. A normal person, when he reads a novel, he will read as a normal story. But a literature student, he will read with the different dimensions, he will go into the depth. The only difference between a normal student and a literature student is the depth. The difference is they'll have only the layer, sheer, what you call surface level understanding, but you will have the depth understanding. In case you don't have, you need to develop that type of depth understanding. Otherwise, it is very difficult for you to really discover the different various perceptions of the being. Got it? And these are the three purposes, but not all the three will be there in every research. Only one will be there, but almost all of the purposes can be brought within this three major categories. And another, after this, fixing the category, fixing it, this is the what you call aim, purpose we have done. But these are the basic need. Already we discussed aim. What is the aim we have discussed? Second thing, you need to have an appropriate research design. What do you mean by research design? See, when a writer writes a novel or a drama or a short story or a poem, anything, he creates characters, he creates a background for a particular place, and he brings some common social problem or something, he takes a certain theme, then he writes as a novel. So when you read those things, am I audible clearly? Okay.
Is your voice little? Can you have your mic closer to your mouth? Yes.
Yeah, that's what you. First thing, you need to have a claim. We already discussed. The second thing is appropriate research design, and that research design is what. Is it fine now? My voice is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the appropriate research design, you need to plan how are you going to conduct research, how you are going to achieve the aim. See, if I want to come to Sivakasi, I need to travel via bus or a train or a flight. I may come to Madurai, from there I need to come. That's a route. See, my aim is to reach Sivakasi. But what is the way I can do? Either bus or a train or a flight or a car. So this is what the design. So I just like that I cannot come to Sivakasi. So this is how you have an aim in our research. How will you achieve it? What way you will identify it? What way you will analyze it? That is what research design. And after the research, fixing the research design, there are so many, because in the PhD level, you will come to know the detailed things about the research design. As of now, you understand that your methodology, what type of thing you use to achieve your aim is what research design. Because if I give more detail, you will get some confusion. That's why let me give a base there. An unbiased approach. Unbiased approach means, see, you want to study a particular work, or you want to conduct a research. But with the minimal research, you cannot establish that your research is correct. Let me tell you. You want to say that one author, you want to study one author novel, and you say that he is a feminist author. Assume that you have taken one work of maybe Mulk Rajanand, or you take Anita Desai, any one writer. With only studying only one work, you brand them as he or her as a particular feminist writer. But without studying the entire works of their works, with only one work, if you come to a conclusion, then that may be wrong. That will become biased approach. The reason is everybody, we will have a different levels of thinking. That's what, if you study the background of the author, in the initial stages, they'll write in different way. In the middle stages, they'll write in different way. In later stages, they'll write in different way. Why? Because as a human being, we grow. When we grow, our perception, our maturity, our ideology, everything will change. For instance, during the college days, I could have said that God is no, I don't believe in God. Probably later part of my life, I could have become a believer of God. Or otherwise, vice versa. In the college days, I could have been a hardcore devotee of a particular God. But later part, I could have become an atheist. So assume that if I had written something during my college days, it will reflect my atheist, what do you call, either atheist or theist philosophy. You know, all my writing will revolve around in a such a way that there is no God or there is a God. But now later part, now my stand will change, because initial stand I say that God is there, but now I say no, God is no there. No, there is no God. Then if you read only my initial work, then you say that this particular writer believes in God, means it's a biased approach. Because did you understand the evolution of the author from the beginning to the till the end? Beginning from the beginning of the career to till the current point of time, then only it will be a what you call clear. Just I'm giving a one example. But see, unbiased approach, it is a very big one. You need to analyze a lot of things. But basically, this is I'm giving an example. You need to understand in that aspect. So obviously, when you say that that person, I'm a theist, assume that Rajshekhar writing understood. You studied Rajshekhar writing, and you say Rajshekhar is a theist. But you may not know that Rajshekhar, in the later part of his life, he became an atheist. That's why unbiased approach means you should have read, studied, analyzed the problem in the 360 degree. But with 180 degree, you study something, another 180 degree, something really different. That's why you have to clearly make sure that it is unbiased. Biased means having one opinion that is correct. You wanted to argue that that's correct, but finally it will be wrong. And third one is appropriate and sufficient resources. See, let me share my experience. See, when I did my MPhil, I did on Margaret Atwood feminism. And actually, that time, you don't find much books, no internet. It was not a very big way the internet was developed. It was there. We used to have a digital library in the university. And we used to go to library, we download some papers and do something. But still, we didn't have a clear idea. For normally, if you want to take some books, you have to go to Trivandrum University, Kerala University. There was a Canadian Study Center was there, and one more Canadian Study Center was there, ASRC Hyderabad, in Osmania University campus. So I traveled these two places, right all the way from here, and I went there to collect the resources. I went there, stayed, and I photocopied the material. Then I came. But it was a very difficult task for me to complete because I didn't find sufficient resources at the time. So, but whereas my friends, those who have selected Indian writers in English, simply they got all the resources. They simply know it is available in Madurai, Sylhet. No, you have Indian writing center is there. They went there, they collected material, they finished it. So you have to be very clear whether whatever the area you're going to select, you have a sufficient resources. And will you be able to do the research properly? Then you need to identify. But in the present context, you don't need to worry. Everything is available in the online. So whether it is Canadian literature, Afro-American, American, anything, everything you can take it in internet. So there is no scarcity of resources today. This may not be applicable to you in the present context. The only thing, you must be ready to access those things. You have to do the things clearly. And fourth one is ethical and not harmful in any way. See, if you take the Facebook and political party campaigns, to look at there, for instance, let us compare two parties, Congress and BJP. BJP party people, they used to say that their policies are always correct, whereas Congress would always criticize their policy is not right. Vice versa, Congress, when they project, they say that their policies are correct, BJP policies are wrong. Here, ethical and not harmful in any way means, but that's not a research, that's a normal social media messages. But when you write a paper, research paper, when you do a research, you cannot give any biased conclusion. You cannot say the wrong conclusion. That's how sometimes some writers get into the what you call controversies and all. Without doing a proper study, they say that this is right or this is wrong. Finally, they'll get into the problem. So you have to be very careful, especially when you make certain statement about a particular community, group, ethnicity. You have to be really very strong if you have a proper evidences to prove your claim that is correct. But without evidence, just like that, don't see, you can't write something someone has told. Someone has told and all will never has any validity in the research. Because what is the proof that somebody's point is correct? But whether do you have a research paper, do you have a research book, do you have any literary theory to support your view, then it's fine. Otherwise, it is not accepted. The final important thing of the research is social significance. At the end of the day, what is the use of your research in the world to the world? What kind of change it is going to bring? Who will use your research? What is the need? What if the research is not done? You need to have some clear answers for this question. And for literature, as I already told you that you may not develop a new product, but you will bring a new perception. See, when a writer takes a movie, if you take another movie, Asuran, and he tries to bring about the marginalized voices, he gave voices to the marginalized section. There is one theory called subaltern theory in literature. The subaltern theory talks about how the marginalized sections are always not given proper due credit, due importance in the society. So writers are filmmakers. If you take any feminist writers, they talk about the feminist problem, female problems. When you talk about the cultural historian, they talk about the cultural distortion. So subaltern means not only feminism, caste, any way, any type, somebody is not given a proper, the society has not given them a due space, they are called subaltern. That subaltern voice is what certain time it comes in the novel, and the hero will be, that's what, if you look at that, go back to the Bala movies, all the Bala characters are subaltern voices. See, when you take Pidamagan, I don't know whether you have watched that movie. Okay, may I know just at least can I get know whether you have watched those movies? At least you have some idea about those movies. Can I get some response?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then thank you. Because otherwise, when I explain many things based on that, if you have not watched it, you don't understand anything. Thank you. So if you take that Pidamagan movie, a person who is in the burial ground, these people are never given any importance in the normal day-to-day society. They are subaltern voices. They are not considered as a human being, first of all. But when a person brings a movie, keeping him as a kind of a protagonist, he grew up in the burial ground. He became kind of mentally retarded person, but he brings them as a protagonist. But it will never happen in the normal life. That is the power of writer. So when you bring in the power of subaltern voices and you write a paper on it, you identify such kind of characters in different movies, then you write a paper on it. You do a research. What kind of impact it has created? After the particular movie, somebody would have understood the real nature of, in case you identify someone as mentally retarded or somebody unnatural, then your view on them will differ after the particular. That's what a significance. So that movie, as a piece of literature, it has created some kind of impact on the public that okay, here afterwards you should not look these people in this way. And look at the another classic example is a JB movie. Again, the another subaltern voices, certain community, they don't have any kind of identity. That's what that community which is portrayed in the JB movie. Because after that movie only everybody started looking at the movie. Is it the problem do they have? Because they never come across these kind of problems. But they understood after the movie. Then another one, what is the atrocity which is normally unfolded by the police department also is given clearly there. The corrupted police, not everybody. Obviously, everywhere there is a particular exception, but these things has clearly given you the idea about how those things are there and how it gives a complete awareness about what is happening in the world. Got it? So this is what the social significance. See the same thing. See why I am using movies. I'm not sure whether you have read many novels. If I quote novel characters, you may not be able to connect yourself. That's why I'm using the movies, because you will be able to connect it well. If I use the novel, if I talk about Great Expectation, then some of you could have not read. I cannot explain the story, then I cannot connect it immediately. That's why I'm using the movies. Okay, now you understood the basics of research aim and the basic need of the research. Now let us get into the how to select a research topic for your PG project. Assume that you want to do a PG project or you want to write a research paper, how to select the topic. So these are the way you can select. First thing, brainstorm the ideas. Brainstorm the ideas means normally the PG project you don't do on your own. Definitely there will be a guide. If you go and ask the guide will tell you some idea. Then you can check those ideas. You and your guide both you can discuss, and finally you can come to a conclusion which one you can select. Initially, you can select some 3 to 4 ideas. Probably I may work on feminism or cultural historicism, or maybe psychoanalytical criticism or something, or you take some author. You say 3 author, or your guide says some other author. Finally, you will come to a conclusion based on the other availability of resources and your potential interest. Finally, you may come to one conclusion. You may select one particular topic. So first one, brainstorm means discuss list out the various possibility. From the possibility, selecting the one after thorough analysis. That's what brainstorm. After brainstorming the idea, you got some basic conclusions, some idea. That you read the background information. Background information means information about the author. Then you have to choose the topic based on the author. He could have written so many works. For a PG project, definitely you take either only one novel or maybe 2 to 3 short stories. Or if it is a poem, you may select 1, 2, 3, 4 poems. That's it. So you have to identify, you read some, once you select the author, you need to read more background information about the author. Then what are the works they have written? Which work you are going to select? Why are you going to select the particular work? You need to know all these things. For that, first, when you read many things about that particular author, some research papers, and you will get some idea. And you have to, already have told you, ensure that topic is manageable. Do not select the topic which is very high to you. Certain things you may not understand. For example, structuralism. It may be a bit complicated for you to understand. But whereas feminism, you may be able to understand clearly. So you need to take a topic which is really comfortable for you. In case you take a very hardcore depth topic, but you are unable to give justice to the topic, then your research will fail. So always make sure that which one you can do, or otherwise, even if you do not know, there must be a chance for you to learn and understand things better. In case still you will not be able to do that thing, you should not select that particular area. And this, I would rate, this is the very, 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 very important. The more important thing, check whether it is really interesting to you. I may be interested in one particular theory, particular author, but you may not like it, means it is a waste of time to work on the particular project. So first thing, whether your mind, whether your interest inclined towards the particular topic, then you select it. Okay, have to understand those things. And even in the slides after some time, we'll be talking, it is very simple. See, you have studied your UG and PG. As of now, you could have read some novel. You know, some novels could have come in your UG semesters and PG semesters. Which novel or which author you enjoyed reading them? You enjoyed learning about them. You select them as one of the probably your author to do a research because you like it. See, when you read about Marxism, and whenever you have read about Marxist related novels, then it means that you are very much fond of doing research on Marxism. So whenever the authors who talks about Marxism, for example, I don't know whether you have read Animal Farm by George Orwell. And if you look at that, that's a complete manifesto of the Marxism. You know, how the author Orwell employed in a very categorical and metaphorical way. He has used a satire as one of the tools to talk about the Marxism and the other side of the Marxism. So it is based on your interest. You need to identify, then you check if it is really, you feel very happy to work on that thing, you select it, otherwise don't select. And within that area, and you have to make it a novel. Novel means new, something should be new. Don't do the work someone already has done in the similar topic, means you change the topic. And don't do on the same topic. If you do this, if you do the research on the same topic, it becomes a copy. That is what plagiarism. So be clear on these things. Okay, in general. Now, see, we are going step by step. I'm taking it. Now you're going to do the exact area. See, in PG, you have two options, two broad field. One is literature, another one is ELT. And there is a huge scope for you to do a PG project in ELT also. You don't think that only literature should be taken, you should only novel, drama, and the short story poems should be taken. Even you can take language issues. You can do a research on ELT also. And before that, before getting too deep into these things, you need to know different genres, very well. Here, the poems is missed here. Novel, drama, short stories, and movies and poems you can take. And ELT. In the ELT areas, you can take listening, speaking, reading, writing, vocabulary, even pronunciation. How these skills are taught or how these skills are learned, you can do a research. See, you can, in general PhD, if you take ELT, PhD, research, it will revolve within these things only. And you can take a small amount of thing. For example, what is the reading speed of second MA students in the select college? Probably you select your college and one more college in the neighboring college. You take a one passage and give it to them to read and count, note it down how many words they complete within a minute. That is called RPM, WPM, word per minute. Within a minute, how many words they read. You can identify how many good reader, bad readers, average reader, extremely good reader. The extremely good reader will be able to read 400 plus words in a minute. When I give a paper to you, will you be able to read 400 words in a minute? Means you are extremely very good reader. You read only 100 words means you are a slow reader, because average you should have more than 200 to 225. So you can do a research on it. Finally, you can say that this is what the reading speed, and you can prepare a questionnaire, you can collect the data, then you can analyze. The finding will be there. What is the students' reading speed in the rural colleges? That will be useful to other people when they read it. And you can do one more thing. You can suggest some techniques to improve the reading speed. For that is called intervention in ELT. See, you understood that the reading speed is slow. Now you want to suggest some ideas for them to improve the reading speed. Then you can tell them, read magazines, read newspaper, every day read at least one page. Some technique, you develop a technique, then you can give, see, now you identified that their reading is 120 words per minute. Then you have taken them for 10 days. Every day you gave them one paragraph. You have asked them to read every day. Then after 10 days, again, you conduct the test and you check what is their reading speed. It would have improved at least some 5 to 10%, because they are practicing the reading regularly. So one of the technique is, if you practice reading regularly, your reading speed will improve. In that way, you can go to, that's one example in the reading. Listening, again, you can test it. You can play a video, then you can check, give a comprehensive question to them, how much they understand, then how to enhance their listening. And similarly speaking, you can give a topic, ask them to talk, then they don't speak properly, then what are the common issues they face it, and all those things you can take. But there are many things are there in this particular field. You need to select only one problem you should study in depth. That's what research. You can't simply say that everybody, they don't speak English. You should tell them, why are they not speaking in English? There may be, let me list out 5 reasons. One is hesitation. Second thing is poor vocabulary. Third thing, fear. Fourth one, scarcity of ideas. Fifth one, never practiced speaking in English. Sixth one, do not know how to form sentences. Seventh one, do not know how to speak fluently, probably coherently. Fluently comes next. So these are just like that. I have listed 7 problems. But apart from that, are there any other problems? You can check. You can conduct a research. You can talk to the people. You tell me why you are not speaking in English. What are the problems you are facing? You list down. And finally, you will be able to bring out the kind of a list. What are the common issues generally students are facing? Whatever I am giving from my own experience, I have not conducted research. It is out of my own experience. Similarly, your teachers will have experience, but you can do the same thing, but properly you can conduct a research, check whether it is true or not. That you can do. So for this type of thing, you can do for all the skills, listening, speaking, reading, writing, and vocabulary, all those things you can do. And this is what you can explore your research potential in ELT area. Next comes literature. And for ELT also you have certain theories. Now let us see what are the theories are there in literature as well as ELT. Why do you need to know the theory? What is, first of all, what is a theory? Very simple. Theory is kind of a glass. I assume that you wear a spectacle. When you see, in case some of you definitely may, I am unable to see you in a detailed way, but definitely some of you are with specs. And can someone who is with specs, a student, can you get up and tell me, can the mic be passed to that student? Someone who wears specs. Please pass a mic to them.
Like,
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. May I know your name, please?
I'm K. Pandima Devi from First English.
Okay, Pandima Devi. And you wear a specs, right? When you remove the specs, what happened?
I can't see anything.
So the specs gives a perception. When in the same Pandima Devi, when she sees something without specs, she can't see anything. But when she wears the specs, everything becomes clear. So theory is like a specs. When you look at one novel, drama, short story, randomly nothing will be visible to you. But when you wear some specs, that's what theory. Your understanding will be entirely different. Your understanding will become broader. Thank you, Pandima Devi. Thank you. It will become broader. Let me tell you how. See, I'm going to list out certain 15 important theories in literature and some another 10 plus theories in ELT. Then I'll take one theory, I'll explain in detail. First, you could have studied, but still quickly let me list out those things. Then I'll take one theory, I'll tell you exactly, in case you select that theory, you have to apply for your PG project. Okay, so literary theory is, that's what it's a kind of a tool, a device to analyze the text. See, randomly you cannot analyze the text. If you take a particular, again, let me go back to the movies. And when you watch a movie, how do you decide whether a movie is good or bad? Can the mic be passed to someone else who has not spoken? I want to talk to one boy.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. May I
I'm
know your
Mahesh
name?
from First English.
What, Ramesh? What's your name?
Mahesh from First English.
Mahesh. Okay, Mahesh. Mahesh, can you tell me, when you watch a movie, what are the parameters you will use to judge the movie, whether it is a good movie or a bad movie?
First, the actor is very famous person.
Very good. Actor. Okay.
Second is the story is interesting and happy ending.
Very good. Whether interesting story or happy ending. Okay.
Third one is the songs are interesting.
Very good. Whether the songs are really, enjoyable one. Okay, good. Then
More emotion.
sorry.
Action and comedy scene.
Action and comedy. Thank you. So now Mahesh, thank you, Mahesh. You can be seated. Okay. Mahesh, he has given 4 parameters to judge a movie. One is the brand of the actor, who is the actor of the movie. Second one, what is the storyline? Whether the story ends happily. That's a very important note. Kindly make a note of it. Third thing, whether songs are really, are you able to connect it? Whether you can enjoy the songs. Third thing, action and comedy. Whether you have a comic element in the movie. So a movie can be judged whether it is a good movie or a bad movie by a layman. Layman means a normal person. These 4 parameters are the basic components. Similarly, if you take literary theories, similar components are clearly mentioned in the theory. You can take those components, you can apply to the novel or a drama, and you can study. That is what theoretical approach towards the subject. Now let me, one approach I'll be explaining you the feminist study, but since it's very easy for you to understand, I'll explain you after listing the 15 theories, then I'll explain in that particular slide. So it's very simple. Based on the Magesh's multiple answer, there are parameters to judge the movie. Similarly, there are parameters to study the text. Those parameters are different from every theories. Feminism will have certain parameters, psychoanalytic criticism will have certain parameters, cultural studies will have certain parameters. We'll see all those things. Within that, I'll not be able to explain everything now. I'll tell you only one, and rest you can decide later. You'll be able to understand. Okay, so let us see. These are the 15 important literary theories. One is practical criticism, I.A. Richards, cultural studies, formalism, reader response theory, the new criticism, psychoanalytic criticism, Marxist theory, postmodernism, post-structuralism, deconstruction, feminist, post-colonial, this is very important, post-colonial theory, feminist criticism, queer theory, critical race theory, critical disability theory. So these are, see, each theory I need to talk for one day, we need a time to explain. Let me tell you, as a literature student, first know all the names of theories, number one. Number two, know at least 2 to 3 important figures in every field, every theoretical field. When you say I.A. Richards, practical criticism, Sigmund Freud, psychoanalytic criticism, Simon de Beauvoir, feminist criticism. In that way, for every theory, there are certain what you call key figures in the theoretical field. Know their name, read about them, get some idea. Then that will help you. This is the first number one. Number two, no need to become expert in all these theories. You select only one theory. If it is feminism, try to get a detailed idea on that particular theory alone. You read more on that, get a depth knowledge, and that is about literary theory. Now, these are the different theories in ELT. Grammar translation method, the direct method, structural situational approach, audiolingual method, bilingual method, communication language teaching method, total physical response, the silent way, the natural approach, community language learning. So these are, there are many, even you can add something else also, but these are the major ELT theories. Okay, now, I say that I want to enhance your language potential. I assume that I want to teach English to you. I want to enhance your language. You are not speaking in English. So my job is to make you to speak in English. What will I use? If I use the grammar translation method, I will write down all the sentences which you need to speak every day. I give Tamil equivalent. Or I give a rules. Tamil, that is a translation method. It is not here. It is mentioned here. That's one is called translation method. I'll try, for example, you want to ask a question. You want to stop me when I'm professor is delivering a lecture, but you want to politely stop the professor and ask the question, what are you supposed to do? Then I'll teach you. Excuse me, professor. Excuse me, sir. Please do not mistake me. Can I ask you a question? So when I teach these 3 sentences to you, you know how to stop the teacher and ask a question. You don't need anything else. But this is called translation method of teaching. But another one, I apply communicative language teaching. Questions, sir? Can I explain the problem? Questions are explain the problem. It's not a full sentence. Question. It means that the teacher will understand that you are asking question. Explain the problem. The problem means he is talking about a problem. You want to know more detail about the problem. It is called communicative language teaching. In the communicative language teaching, there is no proper structure required. If you can deliver the idea even in a butler English, that is more than welcome. The only thing you should communicate it. That's it. It is communicative language teaching. And there is one more thing, the silent way. Simply raise the hand. And I'm teaching, assume that if I'm in person with your seminar, the moment you raise, I can see, I'll stop it. This is silent way. Through body language, you can communicate. So any one method you can take and you can use it for the communication. And I can teach you better body language techniques to improve your language also. I can use more communicative language approach, where the communicative language approach aims only to break your hesitation and your fear. It doesn't bother about your grammatical structure, proper communication, nothing. Only the idea should be delivered at any point. That's it. But whereas grammar translation method, each and every rule should be followed clearly. Not even a single diversion from the rule is not accepted. So this is the way normally ELT theory is taken into consideration when you study a problem. That's what I will give an example. So you can take any, but in the PG level, you will not be able to go into the detailed study of these things. Probably you can take one component, you can study within your limitation, whatever the available thing, with your proper guidance of teachers. They are available to you to guide you in ELT, and you can try. These are the books actually. You could have already got from your teachers. Just I brought certain books from every theory. Roland Barthes, Aristotle, Poetics, and all these are important theory that you once you come into MPhil, PhD level, you will learn all these things. Okay. Now I have taken one particular author, Edward Said. It should be pronounced as Edward Said, not Edward Said. Okay. He is a Palestinian American professor. He is a founder of the field post-colonial studies. Post-colonialism is a theory. What he has identified, the component, the tenets he identified, the tenets of post-colonialism. Look at there. He was the first to point out the European tendency to represent Asians unfairly in literature and art in order to assert the power of the West over the East. See, if you take an English writer, when he writes, he always demean Asians. Asian means all the country belong to Asian continent. They always give upper kind of status to the Western world, very lower status to the Eastern world. Because Edward Said, he exactly points out that this is the kind of colonialism. See, why do we follow certain British policies? Why do we follow certain British principles? Because it's a colonial hangover. Somebody say that Britishers are better than Indians. Who said that? Because they clearly made an image with the Indian mindset. They are better than Indians. So still you are with that mindset. It is called colonialism. It is called colonial hangover. See, I know that very well. Most of your parents, I don't know whether if you have studied in English medium, speaking in English is a great status symbol in our India. You know it. Speaking in English, the moment the parent admits his children in a school, he speaks at least 1 to 2 words in English, they feel very proud. Such a kind of proud that. See, English is after all a language. How Tamil is a language. English is a language, that's it. English is spoken by many people in the world, that's it. It is not a status symbol, but it has been created by the Britishers that if you speak in English, you are a boss. You get a status symbol. Even today, still that continues. Only probably if you come to urban, it has become a normal one because everybody speaks English, so it doesn't have any great validity. But in this rural area, absolutely it has a great potential. That is the outcome of the colonialism because Britishers have clearly ingrained in our mind that speaking on their language is better than speaking in your own language. That's what we feel inferior speaking in Tamil. The schools will pay you. You have to pay a fine if you speak in Tamil. It's your mother tongue. There are schools you know very well. Why that policy paying fine for the speaking in English? Sorry, in Tamil. They completely annihilate, completely remove Tamil. Only you speak in English because the parents expect that, the society expects that. So it is what it happened. The same thing brought in the novel, and you study the novel, you bring out these elements. Probably one character feel very proud about speaking in English. That is the post-colonial thought. You can call it as a colonial thought. Colonial thought. And the same thing will be reversed by the postmodernism and other theories. They'll change it. Why should I? That's why if you look at Mulkraj Anand and other Indian writers, they use so many regional words in English writing. They don't use the word, for example, Pandal. They don't use the English equivalent. They straight away write PANDAL Pandal. Why? Because my language, you learn my language. If you want to understand my text, you learn my language. It is a kind of anti-colonial. You want to revert them. Why should I follow your language? See, I am writing literature from my own country. You are going to read about my own literature. Why should I follow all your conventions you have laid already? So the writers take a stand. So when you see more regional words in the particular author's text, it is the what you call, they are responding to the colonial mindset. They are responding to the colonial ideology. So those things can be taken if you list out all the what are the such kind of words used by Mulkrajana. You say take any, say I'm using one author name, that's it. So you can take it, that will be a beautiful project. That is a one particular, see, you studied the colonialism only with the respect to regional words usage in their respective text. Text means novel or a short story, whatever you read it. So this is how you will understand, because they, what do they say it? They say that always the Britishers are great and Indian here, Asians are very low. How it has come? Because it started in 1839. Lord Macaulay. Lord Macaulay, he has brought out a famous minutes. He came to India in 1839. Britishers ruled India, you know that, for a long time. But they were unable to get into the root of Indian culture. So for that, Lord Macaulay was sent to India to study the issues and how to change it. So he came to India. He went back to UK, Britain, and he said that Indians are very strong in their basic cultural values. They have a very huge literature. We should destroy that. For that, we should enforce learning English is a mandatory one. We should tell them that learning English is better than learning their own mother tongue. So they must be, by person, by birth, they must be Indian, but by thought, they must become Englishmen. For that, he brought a lot of changes. So he said that the entire total literature of India is not equal to 1/12 of books from British. You made a statement. The entire literature, you see how many states we have, how many literature we have. The entire books is not equal to 1/12 a book. 1/12, you know that probably 10 to 20 books, and 1/12 you can have it. That is what the standard of India. That's how he brought it. So he made it, it became, still you can read it. Go on research in Google, Lord Macaulay minutes. You'll be able to read it. So then he changed the policy. After his recommendation only, Christian missionaries were sent to India to start a school. In the missionary, then in those schools, English became compulsory subject. Then they established, because normally they changed. How did they change? First they changed the language, then they changed the attire. Attire means dress. And you use the shoe, tuck-in, belt, and all these things brought in. So actually, slowly, it's kind of a slow poison. Slowly, they changed everything. Now, including me and you, everybody we still follow. We don't. How many of you wear your ethnic wear? Ethnic wear means our traditional dress. Even I can't wear dhoti to my college. You can't. I don't think that boys can come. You will be coming in dhoti to the college. It's not possible actually. The system has changed in such a way. But actually, that is our original dress. Our original dress is dhoti and shirt, sari, half sari. But only you can see these type of attire only during function. Pongal celebration will be coming like that. Maybe some other festivals in your village or your city, you will be there in traditional attire. So they have done damage in such a way that your own ethnic wear has become only what you call festival wear. You wear only during the festival because already you got used to this shirt, something which is very Western. Then now even you want to come back to the normal thing, you can't, because already used to this type of pattern. They have colonized. Your mind is already colonized. You can't come out of that colonized. That's what colonial hangover. It is there. See, once you become customized with the normal pattern, you will not be able to come out of that thing. But this particular thing initially brought out by Edward Said, because when the English writers, they wrote novels, when they have written novels and stories, they formed characters in such a way that all English characters are superior, all Asian characters are inferior. That's how if you look at certain movies, and all Indians who used to be the servants to the, what you call, Britishers. Even look at the RR movie. You can see that Britishers are ruling it. For them, other person normally, except the hero rebel, you take the other person, they used to be only servant to them. So this is how it is made. It is made, and all these people used for the selfish reason, they made it, and they tried to establish that order in the entire society. But Edward Said was the first person to decode those things, and he made the people to think that this is not happened naturally. It is purposely created, fabricated by the Britishers. So this particular thing, how do you identify? Then you will go to the novel and movie. You understand these parameters in that particular novel and movie. Then you will be able to apply post-colonial theory into that thing. Correct? And the feminism, these are the questions you can use for the feministic analysis. As I already told you, these are the, is the author male or female? See, feminism, there are three waves into the feminism. And because if I get into detail, it will take a lot of time. Initially, the feminist movement came to the world only to gain the voting rights. Women were not allowed to vote in the entire world, not only in India, entire world. So initially, they started a movement to gain the voting right. Then slowly, then it come to the, from a, what do you call, voting right. Then it went to the physiological need, and it changed slowly. It evolutionized. No? The evolution changed, and their need changed. But initially, the feminism was brought by only male writers. The feminists argue that how a male writer can bring the first-hand experience of me and my body. You have never come across, how do you understand the, see, if I write about the master pain, when a mother gives birth to a child, she undergoes the master pain, that is supposed to be the worst pain in the entire world. But as a person, a male, I could have learned from my wife. I should have learned it, then I could have written it. But did I have a first-hand experience? Only my wife can write it properly. That's what they argue. As a male, you cannot bring it the original experience, but only female can talk about the female clearly. That's how it happened. So when the author, male author talks about it, it may be correct. It is not entirely wrong. But they, feminists, argue that it has not 100% validity. How will you validate that experience? But whereas when I write, I gave birth to the child, I know what is master pain. So when I write it, it has a more connection, it has a more validity. That's what they argue. Similarly, you will be take one each and one by one. You can analyze. These are the questions to check. You look at, there is the author male or female. Is the text narrated by male or female? Let me give you a beautiful example. You take movies. Why always heroes are glorified than heroines? Heroine will come only 2 to 3 scenes or 5 scenes, 10 scenes. Always hero will have the maximum screen. He will occupy the maximum screen space. Why? Again, heroes can sustain in the field for a longer years. 25 years, then still in the 70s, Rajini acts as a hero. But heroine, after 5 years in the field, except 1 or 2 actors like Nayanthara, Tirsa, and some other people, within 2 to 3 years, they'll be filled out. They don't have the market value because it's a patriarchal mindset. The society is a patriarchal society, only male-dominated society. They decide, they have a lot of advantages. See, both of them act same way, but why they are always glorified, why they are not glorified? That's why certain feminists, they take a movie using the female as a lead, like certain, I think Magalir Mattum, some Jodhika's movies and all, it is based on the feminist theme. Muppatiyar Vaidhanile and all those things. And I think one more movie also, it will give more focus to the female. The male will not have a dominant role. A male character will not be the protagonist. Only female character will be the protagonist. But in general, if you take, only male will be the protagonist. So these are the things, it will be counter-argued by the feminist. Why not all the male? But a lot of people, they misunderstand that feminism means getting equality in everything. No. getting equal rate in everything, it is absolute rubbish. The reason is female is a female, male is a male. See, we have certain sensibility that only male can have. Female has certain sensibility, they can have only have. But when you want to take it as a tit for tat, it is not a real feminism. The real feminism talks about the psychological need and other, how to bring mental, what you call completely upbringing the entire women folks. It is not for the sake of fighting. No, I am better than you. In all the aspects, I am better than you. It never happens because we are unique. See, we are born with certain unique talent. Female are born with certain unique talent. Those should be enjoyed in a unique way. You can't match it in every aspect. Then it will become, that's how it becomes a fight. That is not actual original feminist, the theorists, they never ask you to go for a fight with the male. It says that establish the rights, not with the other stuff. Got it? Yeah. Is there any question? Okay. So these are the normal questions you can ask before analyze. If you want, you can take a picture of this thing. And this is how you need to study the entire novel or a story in the feminist way. So look at for example, do any stereotypical characterizations of women appear? It will be, a wife will be there. Wife will never be allowed to speak. Wife will be never allowed to take a decision. Wife will never be given a complete freedom. Always father will take every decision. This is a patriarchal thing. Here you can bring in the feminist concept. And certain movies you see that there are so many things. And if you say that it is absolutely a patriarchal, you can identify that. So in that way, you'll be able to check, because I don't have time to explain. So this is how you need to analyze the text for literary analysis. And initially, you have to select the broad area of research. For example, for instance, feminism. Then again, feminism, you want to select the specific area of research. What are you supposed to do? Look at that. Broad means feminist view of Canadian writers. There are so many writers in Canada talk about feminism. But you want to work on only specific. You can't do project with every writer. You have to select only one writer. And again, one particular one. Here, specific feministic study of the edible woman by Margaret Atwood. It will become very, very specific. Broad area is a Canadian feminism. The Canadian, there are many writers, but you have selected only Margaret Atwood. Margaret Atwood has written so many novels. In that, you have selected only one novel called The Edible. This is because you need to, from the broad area, then you have to narrow down your research. And okay, now you have decided what are the next step. First thing, download 5 research papers on the broad topic. First, read about Canadian feminism. General feminism you need to read, then Canadian feminism, then read about Margaret Atwood, because Margaret Atwood is your author. You read about her biography, everything. Then in the 5 papers when you download, kindly make a note of it, because as of now, all the theories you have read in equal space. But now you have decided to work on feminism. So you are getting extra knowledge. That extra knowledge just like that will not come. So when you read the paper, you have to take a detailed notes. And when you revise those notes, your clarity will become better. After that, see, after this 5 papers, for example, Canadian writers. Then 10 papers exactly on the edible women by Margaret Atwood. What are the papers available on edible women and by Margaret Atwood? You read those, download 10 papers, read those 10 papers again, then you will get a better clarity. Then you will be ready to do a research, how to apply the feminist theory into that particular novel, you will get a clarity. This is how literature review is the base of your research. Literature review means studying the research papers which are published already in your specific area, the author and the work. That is what literature. If it is ELT, same way, studying about listening papers, how they have conducted listening research, all those things from the broad, then you have to come to the specific area. Now this is another one is that based on your interest, you can select, as I told you that you have to always give focus to your own interest and involvement. And one more thing you can see, the author who inspired you. Sometimes when you come to know about certain author, you could have got really inspired. That time you can select them also. And the text you can select probably some of the text you have studied in your semesters. You find it really interesting. Even you can select that, or otherwise you can take a thread from the particular author and text. You can go to the other novel. In case you studied Edible Women of Margaret Atwood in your PG, you can select some other novel. You can go and read about that. You can select some other novel which you have not studied in your PG. Yeah, these are the topics to be avoided. Subject which is overdone should not be normally chosen. Somebody, you have seen so many research are there, don't select it. Don't select controversial subject because you will not be able to give justification. Not to be too vague. Don't say that feminism in Canada, feminism in Margaret Atwood. That's a very vague topic. Be very specific, culture specific, text specific, author specific, year specific, be clear. And very importantly, don't select the very broad area, then you will not be able to do a justification. Okay, with this, let me stop. Thank you very much. I think I have given a complete overview of all those things. Now the floor can be open for the questions.
Announcement to the participants. If you have any questions, you can ask very well now. You can raise your hands, otherwise your questions can be posted in the chat box. If there are any questions, you can write it. One question.
See, and one more thing, certain detailed discussions, I have given only very basic some of the things. And I'll share my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel which will be completely for the research purpose only. I'll share, just to go to YouTube, you just to type Professor Dr. Rajesh Segman. I have already shared in the chat box. And you have so many videos. I have already 100+ videos only for research. My channel is meant only for research. There are certain Tamil videos also there, because some of the students requested me to post in Tamil. English, there are many English videos and Tamil videos also there. You can go and check it out. And that's what the channel, just go to Professor Dr. Rajesh Segman, you'll be able to check the channel. Okay. What do you think about poetry journal research methodology? Yeah. See, poetry, generally it should be chosen only you are very strong, number one. Here you have to use only poetic devices. See, structural analysis you can do using the poetic devices, what kind of meter, rhythm, style they have used. Or even you can use any literary theories also in the poem. Because poem will have a lot of metaphorical meaning. So if you read in a surface level, you don't understand what is meant in the poem. So you have to go into depth. If you have that kind of conviction, if you have that kind of acumen, you can go ahead. Otherwise, you have to better restrict to novels or story or movies, whichever is comfortable. Next question.
Sir, actually, one of the participants has given a question in the comment box. It is, can you elaborate the methods for appropriate research design?
Yeah. See, method is very clear. Who is your author? What is the work you are going to select? What is the theory you are going to select? In each theory, there are so many parameters. What are the parameters you are going to apply in the particular novel? That's it. See, for instance, feminism, you can go to the different, in the questions which I have already shown, there are 10 to 15 questions I have given. All the 10 don't need to apply. You can take only 4 you can apply. Similarly, when you read each theory, you can understand it is called tenets of the theory. You have to take from the entire list, you select 3 to 4, only those parameters you try to apply in the novel, and then it will be all right. Yeah, can you please tell me why you particularize Canadian writers the feminism? Yeah. See, actually, I didn't have a great reason for that. At the time, ASRC was giving scholarship to the Canadian research. Actually, if you work on a Canadian writer, if the research is really good, they'll give you the scholarship. So I was aiming that scholarship, I did that, but I couldn't get the scholarship, but that was the only reason. Then one more thing, my guide during my MPhil, she was the specialist in Canadian literature. Then that is another reason I chose the Canadian literature, because normally guide used to give us a clarity. So she told me that to choose in a Canadian literature. Then I said, okay, then I chose it and I worked on it. What about the research methods and theories for research and drama? Yeah, in drama, you have a lot of theatrical elements because see, if you take structurally, theoretically, if you study all the literary theories, whatever I have listed can be used for all the drama, novels, short story, and the poems. But certain mechanical aspect of use in the drama, you can go to the theater mechanisms. They have a different style of theaters, different theatrical components like flashback and certain frames and other stuff are there. And you can go to the detailed mechanism of theatrical element, that is called theatrical elements. Theater means that's what the drama theater. There are how do they project it, how do they bring the scene, and all those things. You can have to go with the theatrical elements, and you can study if it is a structural analysis. Normal thematic analysis, you can use all the theory as I mentioned. Is it good to take research on gender areas? Yes, absolutely, nothing wrong, but you have to make sure that in that particular gender area, it is not overworked. There are many people worked already, don't select it, you select something else. Could you please explain interdisciplinary research and the research method? Very good. Yeah, actually, the critical disability studies, that's what I have listed as the last one. I do specialized disability studies. My scholars are working on disability studies. See, disability studies, normally, you can connect sociology, psychology, literature, and even politics. You can connect technology also. See, normally a literature person, he will take the disability related novels. He will try to identify how the disabled people are portrayed in the society, what type of problem they face. He will try to bring out. But technology person, what he will do, I work on a disability study. I'll collaborate with computer science people. So we may bring in, see, for example, blind is one of the disabilities. So already we have a Braille method. In the Braille reading, is there any pitfalls are there? So can I develop some new kind of tool? So I will give us some theoretical support to the technology person. That's what computer science person. He may help me to develop a new technology using artificial intelligence, machine learning. Then we may develop a product. That's we could have come out sometime. The blind people used to have some stick. That stick, it will have certain sensor. Suddenly something comes, it will the beep sound will come. So these are the connecting technology with the disability. But for that, you should first thorough on your field, and you need to check to which field you can collaborate and you can study on it. For instance, disability and psychology. Normally, we portray, we see how the disabled people are given in the novel. But what are the psychological reasons for that? Apart from psychological theory, what are the core psychology? Also, we can go and meet some psychologists and we can connect both our literary thread as well as psychological thread. Then we can do an interdisciplinary study. So interdisciplinary study means one field plus another field jointly doing a research is called interdisciplinary. English, what you call psychology. English, computer science. English, political science. In that way, connecting two different knots together. That's what interdisciplinary. Transdisciplinary, again, same thing. 1, 2, and 3. You will connect 3 more fields also together. You will try to do a research that becomes trans. I have taken 2 novels. Under that novel name is Untouchables and yeah, Holy Mulkraj Anand. Writing how to analyze the books. That's what. See, Vignesh, you need to select the theory. You have selected the Mulkraj Anand, fine. You have selected the 2 texts, that's are fine. For that, first identify what are the common themes of Mulkraj Anand. What are the common theories you can apply to Mulkraj Anand. From that theory, you select any 1 or 2 theories and try to read that theory in depth. Within that theory, there may be many parameters. You select like how I have asked Magesh to discuss. How do you identify the to decide a movie as a good and bad? There are 4 parameters informed. Similarly, for every theory, there are parameters. You check those parameters, you select 3 to 4. You apply with that your novel. When you apply those parameters in the novel, where the particular things are happening, take and you have to quote it and you explain it. That is the you have to do that. Can you please tell me what is your view of Things Fall Apart novel by Chinnu Achebe? Yeah, it's a classic. Chinochibi novel is a classic. You can use the absurdism into that particular. Normally, Chinochibi and the Thomas Beckett and all, you can use the absurdist viewpoint. And you see, if you ask every text, I have my own view, but you may have your own view. See, there is no kind of asking other person what they think. You can do a justice. You can bring in even a Shakespeare's Hamlet, and you bring it in a latest adaptation to the today's context. You can write no problem, even though it's a very old text. So only thing you take and read first. Once you decide the author, you read about them, what type of works they have written, and what are their common themes. Just to know about their biography. Try to know about their works, whatever they have written. Read about them. Then you'll get a clarity. See, all of you do some literature review. For example, Vignesh, you read papers about Mulkraj Anand, about the papers on the Coolie and the untouchable. Go and type in Google Scholar, research papers on untouchable, research papers on what you call a Coolie, then you'll get many. Let me show you the example. Just share my screen. Actually, before that, this is what my YouTube channel, because you will get to know there are many things you will get answered from the channel because there are so many videos. So now let me tell you how to search. Go to scholar.google.com. See, all of you kindly make a note. Don't search in normal Google. Go to scholar.google.com. Now, Vignesh asked research papers on untouchables by Mulkraj Anand. Because generally, if you give untouchable, it will go to the common problem. So you have to give Mulkraj Anand. Just you give. See, now you can see on the genesis of untouchable, a note by Mulkraj Anand. All the things are there. The exclusions of post-colonial theory and Mulkraj Anand untouchable, a case study. You can, for example, you see there are many results available. You can come down, and if you see like this PDF, just you click it, you will be able to open it. You can download. Yeah, it is downloaded here. It will download now, and you will be able to read. Once it is downloaded, you can save it in a separate folder in your system. Try to read the paper. See, if you go to my YouTube channel, it will. If you go to my channel, there are videos about how to read a research paper, how to write each and every sections of the paper. Many things will be there. And just to go and browse and check it up, there will be many resources for you to check. Let me tell you, this is what the research paper. I don't know whether you have come across the research paper. Yeah, I have downloaded. Always the research paper will have a title, author name, then there will be abstract. Yeah, this is the abstract. And you will be followed by the detailed descriptions. So you have to read the entire paper. Yeah, as an initial level, you don't need to read the full paper. First read the abstract and try to understand. Then, in case if it is really highly relevant to you, you go to the next what you call reading the full paper. Yeah. Next question, please. Yeah, any other questions? Okay. Can you tell me, can you prefer materials regarding comprehension skills, type of comprehension skills? That's what, see, one is simple Google, another one, if you want to get a common material, Google it. If you want to get a research paper, go to scholar.google.com as I have shown you. Could you please explain whether ELT research can be preferred in the PG level research? Absolutely, you can prefer. I did my PG project only in ELT. I did on listening skill. My PG project was on, yeah, I did on listening skill. Now I took at the time, I took radio news, how it is reaching the people, how they are able to understand the radio news. That way I edit my PG. You can absolutely can do. Can you prefer material regarding comprehension? I don't understand the question, Karthika. Can you prefer means what do you mean by it? So can you be specific about your question? I don't prefer means do you want me to suggest the material or do you want me to say which is good material?
Unmute Karthika, let her ask the question.
Yes, yes, Karthika, you can unmute and you can talk to me. Yeah. Is the feminist theory will only used in the writings of female author? Why don't we apply? Yeah, absolutely. Who said? Don't have any misconception that only feminist theory is applied to the female author. Any theory can be applied. Any theory you can apply. See, no need to apply only then what. See, female writers, all of them are not the feminist writers. There are writers that write entirely different problems. No need to. It is not feminist theory alone. You can apply any theory. And, oh, can you suggest material types of comprehension? See, types of comprehension, whether you want to test the reading comprehension or writing comprehension. I don't, Aparna, you be specific. Better you unmute and talk to me so that I can understand you better.
AB.
Yeah, reading, very good. Reading comprehension means, first thing, reading style. How to, first of all, how many times you are repeating the reading? What is your vocabulary level? What is your regular reading practice? How often you read? Are you good at your own mother tongue reading? And actually in the reading, it is based on the practice when it will come. Then what is your level of vocabulary? See, you are very good reader, but you don't know any of the words. Then there is one technical guess from the context. See, whenever you read an English newspaper, you no need to require to read know all the words. Certain, if you know the 4 words, 5th word is unknown, you will be able to guess it. That is called guess from the context. So with the guessing from the context alone, you will be able to increase the reading. Because instead of stopping there and going to the dictionary, you can do it. As of now, while reading it, whatever the word you don't know, just to circle it, you keep following, continue the reading. Once you finish the entire paragraph, then go back to the dictionary, refer it and write it down. So guessing from the context can be used as one of the reading techniques to improve reading. Second one, regular reading practice. Are you, how many of you are having the habit of reading newspaper regularly? If you have, definitely you can improve the reading skill. How many of you read novel, original text? You have read original text, original novel, original drama, original poem, original short stories. At least you are very weak in reading the full-length novel. Start from essays, Bacon's essays. You can read that's all, which will be not more than 2 pages. Read short stories, start from that. Then slowly, then you can go to the big novels. Try to read in the PG level. Absolutely, you should read the original text. Don't read only notes. That notes will help you to write in exam, but it will never help you to get the real knowledge. So you should completely, you should read the original text. At least based on your level, try at least 1 or 2. I don't ask you to read everything. At least whatever the best way you can do. In case you can read all the original text, you will be wonderfully, you will be ready to for your next level research. And one more important thing for all the PG students, let me tell you, this will be a very important news to you. See, VIT Chennai, we offer PhD programs. In the VIT Chennai, if you apply, you have to write the entrance exam, then you will apply, you will come for interview if you are selected. You get 25,000 monthly salary. It is called stipend. You will be able to do PhD in VIT Chennai. There is a student, one of my scholars is from Sivakasi only. She's studying, she works under me, and she gets 25,000. Already 4 of them have completed. So in case you are interested in doing PhD, MPhil is not mandatory. Directly after your PG, you can apply. Yearly twice, January as well as June, we used to call for. You check www.vit.ac.in. That's the website. VIT, Vellore Institute of Technology. Just you type it, vit.ac.in. The research normally we advertise and it will come through the website. Check, apply. In case you have a capability, if you got selected, your life will change. This is the just I would like to announce. That's it. Can you please tell me some points regarding Queen Bee syndrome in post-colonialism. Madhavi, I'm sorry, I don't know about this because, and one more thing, we cannot be expert in everything. Literature is the ocean. So I can be expert in only certain field, but Queen Bee syndrome, I have not come across. I have not worked on that thing. So I'm not the right person to answer that question. I need to refer it only, I'll be able to answer you. And one more thing, don't try to take too many different things. Identify one, try to become expert on it. That's normally PhD research and that works in the depth level. You can't do this one, that one, and everything. And you should have a honesty to say that you don't know. See, when you write a proposal, somebody asks you the question. If you're not very strong in that area, you should tell them that I'm not strong in this area, let me work on this. And that we need to say. And, reading comprehension skills definition and its features suggest some book names. See, even I have my book reading skills for intermediate level. I'll share that thing. I don't know whether I have it right now. It is available in Amazon. Very simple. If you talk about certain reading, what you call article, followed by questions. So if you use that book, you'll be able to improve it. You can read any book. I'll suggest you I'll share that book, Amazon link to you, to the organizers, to Swapna, probably she will share to you. Yeah, next question, please.
But actually, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Doing research is difficult. Better doing the research on PhD degree is almost taken part of our life. I just want to know what are the criteria we can go for this doing postdoctoral degree, postdoctoral research.
Yeah, postdoc means after completing your PhD, you will further work on the same research field in the depth. See, in the postdoc India, it is very less. Only the foreign universities they offer. Say, for instance, you worked on, for example, Margaret Atwood. You worked on her works for a PhD. You have completed. Then you can identify some other researchers, those who are working on Margaret Atwood for a long time, and they work in that particular writer, professor works in some other university. And see, in India only we try to do all the research. I do literature, ELT, and everything. But in foreign, they'll do only one specific thing. They'll never come out of that. In case they do only listening, even if you ask the question based on reading, they don't know, because they'll get into the micro specialization into the field. So in that way, somebody will be the specialist in Margaret Atwood. They may be doing, there may be a lot of scholars working under there. And you have completed a PhD, you want to further work on that same author in a detailed way, you can write to them. You have to write a mail to them. And if that particular university offers postdoc, you can tell them that you wanted to come to join as a postdoc. The postdoc, what generally they do, they continue their research in the deeper level. Whatever they completed up to PhD level, that will be continued in the very depth level. In the postdoc, you are expected to publish high quality papers in top-notch journals in the world. And you will be expected to work under the project which is given by the mentor. That's a postdoc mentor. Mentor means they are not called as a guide, they are the mentor. And based on their project availability, you will be working on their project also. Project means they will do at a very big level, they will be working on it, and you will work on that. And postdoc, generally you have to apply, then there will be interview process, and it will be very competitive actually. It's not easy to get it, but if you get it, your exposure will be very good. And you can try. And if you are interested to a postdoc, always make sure that your original PhD is very strong. Number one. Number two, you need to have a lot of good publications. If you do not have any publications, you will not be able to apply any postdoc. You should have it in Scopus Index and Web of Science, not in normal UGC journal and all. Foreigners, they never know what is UGC. So this will not help you. So you need to have a very good high quality publications on the particular area, then only you'll be able to go to postdoc. Otherwise, you can never ever go to postdoc. Yeah. Next question. I think that's all. The questions are over. Probably, if there are no questions, we can wind up. I don't see any questions in my chat box.
Thank you, sir. It is really an exhaustive presentation. You have educated us regarding all the aspects of research, starting from what is research, the purpose of research, basic need of research, ethics of research, and literature review. by connecting with the right example from film and from the live experience. Sir, we are amazed by your depth of understanding in the field of research. We thank you immensely for opening the research gates of the budding researcher by clearly explaining the research and its purpose. It has always been our pleasure to have you with you, sir. We look forward to see you again for the upcoming workshop. Thank you, sir. It will be audible. An attitude of gratitude brings great things. May I call upon Mrs. J. Shanta Christina, Assistant Professor of English, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you is such a prayer that cannot be seen or touched. It must be felt by heart. It has been such an honor to me to be a part of this wonderful event. I deem it a great privilege to propose vote of thanks. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude to God Almighty for His abundant grace showered on us. It's my duty to offer my sincere thanks to our magnanimous management and to our charismatic secretary, sir, Sri A.P. Selvarajan, for granting permission and sponsoring us to conduct such an insightful program. I record my special thanks to our Honorable Vice Principal, sir, Dr. P.K. Balamurugan, for presiding over the workshop. On behalf of our institution and my English department family, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed and revered chief guest, Dr. V. Rajashekharan, Senior Assistant Professor of English, School of Social Science and Languages, VIT University, Chennai. Sir, your insightful deliberation on the topic research is indeed an eye-opener. It clarified many myths surrounded on the topic. I would like to thank our respected head of the department, Dr. S. Femina, for her stewardship, vision, and commitment. Her constant help and support radiated a source of energy within us. We will remain grateful to you, ma'am. On this occasion, I'm immensely thankful to our respected associate coordinator, Mrs. K.P. Swapna and her team members, the compiling team, Mrs. Shanti and Mrs. Joshna Infanta, finally the technical assistant. They all acted as a driving force for the grand success of the program. It has been our tribute to host all the members and audience of the meet. I really appreciate all the teacher friends and student participants for the valuable contribution and meaningful participation. If time is money, then today you all have spent millions for us. Thank you so much for everybody for making this event a grand success. Thank you.
Yes, it is an announcement to the participants. The feedback link is posted in the chat box. You are all requested to fill the feedback link so that you will be given your participation certificates.
So thank you so much for joining with us.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day, and I hope it was useful. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. It was very useful, sir.
Thank you, sir.